Um, I am grateful. This is my favorite visit I get to have as a chiropractor. This will be the most important visit I believe you will have in this clinic. And I won't be surprised if it's actually one of the most informative or important visits you ever have walking into a doctor's office. The reason is because in this clinic, we have one philosophy. It's why. Why would someone get symptoms? Why is your body creating these things? And our whole goal is to get to the root cause, not just treat symptoms in here. So the purpose of this first 45 minutes is education. It is to teach you what these scans are, what these x-rays are, how to read them, what normal is, what abnormal is. Now, I took a lot of scan data, so I'm not going to be showing you guys all of it because I don't need you guys to know all the big peats. I just need you guys to know the most important ones so you can have this understanding as to maybe why your own body is creating these symptoms right over here. Okay? I will make this a little interactive tonight. So I'm going to ask a couple questions. I'm going to have you guys think through things, and it's really important because if you guys can work yourselves through answering some of this, it's not just me telling you, it's you understanding it for yourselves. I will not show any of your own specific scans, x-rays, or finances in this setting right over here. So tonight, when I go over some of these scans and x-rays, I'm going to be using an example of a patient of mine who's allowed me to share her journey and testimony. So don't think that I'm going to be showing any of your personal stuff in this. Once we are done understanding this, we are going to go back privately and we will privately walk through your own information. And if this is something you are ready to get started with and take care of, we'll go ahead and start our journey here tonight. Sound good? Cool. Okay. You guys all got a prep video that I sent out. I hope you had a chance to watch that prep video because we are going to start here. Remember, this is a philosophy that is true about anything. You cannot be anything that you can't define, okay? So if you cannot define health, you can't be healthy. And this is the biggest thing, is that most people that I meet before coming in here, do they know that there's an actual definition to the word health? So maybe my clicker will work, maybe it won't work here tonight. Okay, I might be using this part here. Okay, so what is health? Health is the optimal healing and functioning of your body, and it's not just merely the absence of sickness or disease. So we got to start here because in the prep video, hopefully you guys remember this. How do most people judge their health in this world? They judge it typically by how they feel, right? And now look at these things that kill more people in America than anything. Cancer, heart disease. You don't feel any of those things building inside of your body. So health is not how we feel. In fact, I say this, it is probably the most dangerous way you will ever judge your health is by judging it on just how you feel. Don't get me wrong, I want to feel good. It's a part of health, but it is not health. Health is how well is your body healing and functioning. Because if your body is healing and functioning as close to 100% as possible, well, not only are you going to feel great, more importantly, you are going to prevent health issues in the future. And the best part about this is you don't need to believe in it one way or the other, but you could choose to believe in it biblically. You could choose to believe in it scientifically. They both confirm the exact same thing. That's the great news. The human body is not designed to fail. Your body is not designed to have cancer and diseases and all that stuff. It is eventually going to fail at one point, but the Bible and science both say easily over 100 years is what the body is capable of. So when you are 30 or 40 and you are dealing with symptoms and diagnoses, that's not bad luck. And it's really not random. It's something is causing that. And I don't have a philosophy in this clinic, nor do I encourage you guys to just treat symptoms. But how do most practitioners, doctors, even other therapists work? We work on the symptoms and we do symptom management. And sometimes that's necessary, but if what you're doing doesn't get rid of the symptom, then you just haven't found the root cause of the problem yet. So what in the human body controls healing and functioning is the next logical thing we jump to, and you guys learned about it in the video. What controls everything in the human body? The brain, okay? This is not my opinion as a chiropractor. This is just physiology. The brain controls everything in the human body. For your heart to beat right now, for your lungs to breathe air, for your stomach to digest food, for a cut to heal on your hand, or for whatever symptom you came in here to actually heal, it has to happen because your brain does it. So your brain is constantly sending messages down through your spinal cord and out through your nerves, and the nerves are connected to the rest of the body, the organs, the cells, the tissue. The spine is the protection of that nervous system. That's why I care about your spine. That's why the bones are important. The spine is literally just the physical protection of the nerve system. So from the front to the back, you want your spine to be completely straight up and down. When you look at the spine from the side, you actually want 3 curves from the side. All of them should be at 45 degrees. When your spine is in that position, a couple things are going to happen. You're not going to put pathological tension on the spinal cord and nervous system. Your bones have the proper biomechanics, so they will not degenerate and age like they shouldn't. Arthritis and degeneration, that's not normal. Stenosis, that's not normal. Disc degeneration, that's not normal. That's common. It's going to happen if you don't understand what's going on internally. Here's what I mean by that. If you never were taught to brush your teeth and you every day went without brushing your teeth, do you think you're going to have healthy teeth years from now or months from now? No, you're going to see decay and bad stuff. That's the same thing with the spine. If you've never taken care of your spine and you actually not had it put in the normal position and you haven't been working on it, you're not going to be surprised to see decay and aging and degeneration. Now, sometimes that will lead to symptoms. But you know what's insane? Most of your nervous system is not symptom-based. It's not sensory. In fact, most of the studies find it's less than 10% of the nerves are sensory. That means less than 10% of the time, you will feel pain when you have a pinched nerve or a bad spine. That's why as a chiropractor, I don't judge your health on just your pain. I wouldn't encourage you to judge your health on your pain. Because again, how many people in our world feel great every day and then drop dead of a heart attack? Thankfully, not everybody, but it's more common than we want it to be. How many people in this world feel great every day and then all of a sudden they learn they have cancer in their body? And when do most people get diagnosed with cancer in America? Not early, stage 1 and 2. Most people's first time they know about cancer is stage 3 and 4. So that means they've had cancer in their body for decades, sometimes 20 plus years before they ever feel it. So we don't want to judge it on feeling. We want to go off of function. Does that make sense to everybody so far? Okay, so now let's learn how to understand functional testing. This is the first test I'm going to teach you guys about. It's called heart rate variability testing. So it's my first scan that you guys get run when you come in for your consult. Heart rate variability is measuring the energy reserve of your body. So more specifically, it's measuring something called your adaptive reserve. How does your body adapt to stresses? How does your body adapt to life? There's 2 measurements on this scan that we are measuring. We are measuring metaphorically your gas tank, how much energy your nervous system has, and we're measuring the balance of your nervous system. So we're going to dive just a little deep into nitty-gritty anatomy physiology right now. If you've taken classes, you understand these, you've heard of these words. Your nervous system is broken down into 2 individual parts, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. You may have heard of the sympathetic nervous system being called the fight or flight part of your nervous system, and it is. Your sympathetic nervous system is necessary when you're fighting or flighting. If you're playing a sport, if you're being chased by a bear, you want to be in fight or flight. You do not want to be in fight or flight sitting down in a chair. That's not good because your body then is acting like it's running from a bear all day long. And if you are running from a bear all day long, do you think that body's going to make it to a ripe, great old age of 100, 120? No. Your body's actually going to go into what's called a catabolic process. That means you're using all these energy reserves that your body's going to start breaking itself down. Well, what does that look like? That looks like arthritis, that looks like degeneration, that looks like issues. But the great news is that you can get out of fight or flight by taking the cause and fixing it. That means chiropractic might be one of the issues you need to do, but also in our clinic, you're going to learn this. We don't just do chiropractic. We address nutrition, we address stress, we address lifestyle, we address exercise, we address toxins, because those things will affect your nervous system as well. So here's the easier thing to understand. When that dot drops down, that's the gas tank. That's going to be measured by something called your autonomic activity index. Ideally, we want to be somewhere between 90 and 100 is perfection. 80 to 90 is a good score. 70 to 80 is average. Under 70 is like a D or an F in school. We don't want that. Okay. Next, if this dot goes to the left side of the line, your body is in sympathetic dominance. That means your body is in a fight or flight state. What happens when you're in fight or flight? You go into a protection state. What happens when you go into a protection state? You go into noisy brain, we call it. Your brain is getting so much input that all of a sudden the output now becomes a problem sometimes for people. Okay? Your body cannot protect and heal at the same time. It's impossible. They're two different sides of the nervous system. So now, what physiologically happens when you go into fight or flight? When your brain goes into fight or flight, let's just say a dog or a bear was chasing you right now. You know what your body's going to do? Your brain's going to do, not on accident, on purpose. It's going to raise its blood pressure. It's going to start getting all this blood to get to your arms and your legs because it needs to run. When you're in fight or flight, do you think your brain at that point is healing your digestive organs in that moment? Do you think it's restoring your cells in that moment? Nope, it is in a protection state. So when you are in fight or flight, you're going to see organs not functioning as well. And don't worry, I'm going to show you, we have a scan to measure this stuff so you can know what's actually going on internally well before you actually feel it. So we don't want to be on fight or flight, but what's actually even worse is if you go to the right side of the line. That's parasympathetic dominance. That's exhaustion. That's chronic. That is overworked. That is sluggish. That is long term. It takes a while to get you there. It takes a while to get you out of there. So I like to call zone 4 the nursing home spine. So what I'll see when people come in from a nursing home usually, are people in a nursing home usually healthy? They're usually very medicated. They're very diagnosed. And now watch this, because I'm going to come back to this. What does the posture usually look like of someone living in a nursing home? Right? They're hunched forward. Pay attention to that, because when I show you your x-ray, you'll see why that is mortality, literally mortality. So any questions about this scan right here? Good? Okay, so move on to the next scan. Thermography, simple. How are your nerves talking to your organs? So your organs are only alive because your nerves are talking to it, and then your nervous system is also sending blood to them. So on an organ scan, what I want is heat going to your organs. So this is one of the few scans ever in all the medical world where red is good. Because normally red is bad, right? So on this scan, red is good because it's representing blood, heat, organs. So on this scan, very simple. You just want to see red bars going to your organs. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see blue bars going towards the body. That means that organ is actually in a protection state. It's still alive. The organ might still be working. But if you see blue, a couple things might be happening. You may not have any symptoms there, but you might have now a higher chance of having a symptom. It's not a guarantee, just a higher probability. It's like Russian roulette. You can spin that revolver 100 times. You may not get a bullet, but it takes one. Or you already have an autoimmune diagnosis. You already have an organ that's not functioning properly. So then at that point, we need to determine, is this a spinal issue? Is it a lifestyle issue? It could be all of it. That's why, guys, we don't just look at symptoms. We look at cause. I look at the whole body. By this point, you might start understanding why our results are a little different than a lot of people. Because it's not, and I'm going to show you even more when I get to my case example, it's not just the symptom I'm caring about. It is the function of your body, okay? Which then, what is an x-ray? An x-ray is the health of your spinal cord and nervous system. So I'm only going to show you one x-ray for an analysis standpoint tonight. This is the most important x-ray in our clinic right here. This is the side view of your neck right now. So this is an x-ray of the person looking this way right now. There's the eyes, there's the chin, there's the back of the head. There's 3 things you guys are going to see on an x-ray that I'm going to ask you to memorize right now. 3 things that I want to compare with your normal if we took x-rays on you. Maybe one day we'll get x-rays on you. But number 1, you're going to see a line that drops down forward. It's called forward head posture. What did we just talk about? What does the nursing home spine look like? This. Guys, it's insane, but you need to understand it's not even something to joke around with. As your head goes forward and you hunch over, it increases mortality. It literally increases your chance of death. And it's not just because your posture is bad. It's because as your head goes forward, guess what you're going to be crushing inside your spine? Your spinal cord. Your spinal cord up here is so close to your brain, you have so many neurons in your neck. In fact, you have more neurons and synapses in the cervical spine than you do in all the rest of your nervous system. Hence why you're going to see a lot of chiropractors in our world that only adjust one bone in you. They don't adjust anything else in your spine, just the atlas, top bone, because of how much correlation there is to the rest of the body with that. Now, we're good at moving everything, so we focus on full spine nervous system, but the most important area that I work on for people and where I would start before anywhere else is the neck. That curve in your neck is called the arc of life. Neurologists call it that, not chiropractors. Neurologists call this the arc of life because it's the most important area of your entire nervous system. Okay, critical thinking now. You guys are supposed to have a 45-degree curve in your neck. 45-degree curve in your lower back, 45-degree curve in your mid back. Why do you think this one's the most important one? Why do you think this one is where most of the studies are done in the neurological world of chiropractic?
Because it's closest to your brain.
Bingo.
Everything has to go through it to get to the other areas.
Bingo.
And like you said, it has the most synapses.
Yep.
And
Good.
neurons.
So you got 1 out of 2 for sure right on the head. For your lower back or your digestive organs to heal from a standpoint, your brain has to send messages through the neck to even get to those nerves in your lower back. So you can actually have a subluxation in your neck, aka a misalignment in your neck, blocking the signals from your brain to your digestive organs, and you might have digestive issues. Second reason, who has heard of the vagus nerve before? Okay, vagus nerve exits right at the top part of your neck. It actually controls the health of all the major organs in the body. I don't know if I've yet seen an autoimmune condition come in here that doesn't have compression or a atlas subluxation. It just doesn't exist because there's also a reason they have an autoimmune condition. So now, not to say doctors are bad, not to say the medical system's bad, but I will say this. We have a lot of people in America on medications. Do you guys get that? We are a very small percentage of the world. We're probably 5% of the world. And do you guys know that we take somewhere between 50 to 70% of the world's drugs here? We take over 90% of the world's painkillers here. Did you guys know that 1 out of 2 people in this world right now are going to be medicated? Did you guys know a lot of kids are on medications here today? Why? And let me tell you why. Because we're a symptom management system. If I go to a doctor right now and I have IBS or digestive issues, how many of them are going to look at my neck x-ray to see if I have a subluxation up here? Never. That's why you'll treat symptoms in that model. Listen, it's the best crisis care model in the world. I love being in America because if I get hit by a car right now, they can get a helicopter to me in minutes. They can get me to save my life, and it's for that. But if I have a chronic health condition, the worst place I can be is in the medical system right now because they don't look at cause. They usually treat symptoms. I'm not against that if that's what you want, but that's not what most people want. Most people want to learn the cause of their issue. But if the nervous system controls everything, you can't neglect it. But your nervous system doesn't get tested in the medical system unless you have a neurological brain condition. You'll get your nervous system tested if you've got like early Alzheimer's or ALS. That's not the first time to get your nervous system tested. That's like getting your teeth checked when you're 60 and you have no teeth anymore. It's terrible, right? You get your teeth checked when you first grow a tooth. Get your nervous system checked when you first enter the world is what I want my people to know. It's my mission to get that out to the world. Hence, you're going to see babies all over the place in here. No one brought me their baby because they're like, I just thought it was a great thing to do. Some people have. They've learned about chiropractic. They do it because they sit in this report and they understand why a baby should get checked. And I'll show you at the end why a baby should get checked. Okay, when your spine has this curve, when your head is upright, these are what your bones will look like. Your bones will be healthy. So I want you guys to look at these. These are nice square bones. The disc spaces are even and thick all the way between every single bone. You don't want to see stenosis. You don't want to see disc degeneration. You do not want to see bones growing new bones. You don't want to see arthritis because arthritis literally means death to a bone. Disc degeneration means death to a disc. You don't want bones and discs dying in you because that's not normal. It's supposed to be living. Okay. That's a cross-sectional MRI. When you have this curve in your neck and a proper spine, your spinal cord, which if you take this off and you look straight down your head right now, that's what you're seeing right over here. You want to have a nice, healthy spinal cord right there. Okay? Watch this. This is now a graphic representation of this. Spinal cord sits right in the spinal canal between your bones, and your brain is right up here, so it comes out. Slips, falls, traumas, car accidents, birth, technology, posture, computers, stress, life, marriage, divorces. All these things will affect your nervous system. Now, when you have a misaligned spine, your pain is not my priority concern. It is my concern because I want you to feel better, but it's not why I'll adjust you. You degenerate your spinal cord if you actually have misalignments that don't get corrected. You actually decay your bones. They literally will die if you don't have them in the right position. And sorry if I'm really black and white, but I don't want to lie to people. I don't have this fluffiness to my chiropractic anymore. I did in the beginning. I've been doing this too long. I've seen too much death. I've seen too many diseases to lie to people. And yes, you may not be able to do this here today, but I pray you will make it a priority in the future if you can't do it here right away. But I will do whatever I can to help people make this happen, because this is not just about your pain. This is about your brain. This is literally about the brain and the nervous system. So let me end today with a case example. I want to show you how quickly I could do this and why my job is actually really easy. I'm going to show you guys one of the worst cases I've seen. And this is a gal who came into our clinic a few years ago now. I think it's over 3 years now. Julie came and saw us. At 28 years old, this was the gist of what I got out of her paperwork. It was much longer than this, and you can actually see way more diagnoses than this. But at 28 years old, she had chronic pain syndrome, which means she just had pain all over the place. If you go to your medical doctor and you have pain and inflammation all over the place, you'll most likely be diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Okay? Autoimmune, they don't know what causes it. 9 years old, she actually started dealing with chronic pain in her body. At the age of 20, she's entered into a chronic pain facility because they need people to help her manage her pain. She's had a rough estimate of over 50 rounds of antibiotics, but as I went deeper into her history, that 50 rounds was like when she was a kid, not even as a teenager and adult. So it could be well into the hundreds of rounds. If you take antibiotics regularly, you won't have an immune system because it's an atom bomb. You're going to wipe out good and bad bacteria. So she's sick all the time. She can't travel. She can't go on flights. She could, but she's scared. Every time she goes to travel, she gets sick wherever she goes. So now mentally, she's reclused into her home. She's scared to go out. Could you imagine what someone like this felt during COVID? Because we had just bombarded people with fear during COVID. Sciatica. If you've ever heard of that, that's lower back pain that shoots down your leg and into your foot. She had digestive issues. She had menstrual issues. She had moments she had no menstrual cycle. She was told very little chance she'll ever have kids. Migraines, chronic, from young age, teenager. Neck pain, chronic. Almost regularly she was dealing with neck pain. Sleep issues. She don't sleep. She's in pain or she's just disturbed. So she sleeps a couple hours a night and very brokenly. So you think she's got a bunch of energy in her body? No, she's tired all the time. And that's also because she has thyroid issues. Hypothyroidism. So her energy and hormones are all off. She was diagnosed and medicated for depression disorder, anxiety disorder, and bipolar disorder. She had 11 different autoimmune diagnoses medically, and every day she was taking between 25 and 30 pills. She's gone to a lot of specialists. She's gone to a lot of doctors. They've taken her to some of the best in the country, just to be clear with the medical system. Johns Hopkins, Stanford University, Mayo Clinic. Throughout her life, they've been a lot of doctors. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent a lot of time. And they are a broken family when it comes to, honestly, faith in her body. Because they've been 28 years being told by doctors, this is what it is, this is what it is, let's do this, let's do this. She's going to 12 different specialists who are managing her symptoms. None of them are talking to each other, so they don't know which medications she's on. So that's how you end up on 30 meds. That's criminal, in my opinion. That's literally a toxic bomb in your body. So now her gut's being destroyed, her cells are being destroyed. So long story short, when they come into my clinic, I always tell people this, hey, this is going to be different, but also I'm going to treat you like you've never been to a chiropractor, because they've been to chiropractors. They've been a nutritionalist. They've been to the wellness world. So it's not like I'm the first holistic person they're seeing. In fact, they've gone to a lot of these people. It's just that, what do I do differently? You might just think, oh, there's closer chiropractors to me. There are. I've got people who drive by 30, 40 chiropractors before they come to this clinic. And why? Because what you're about to see I don't do things subjectively. So here's the first thing, and you guys got to know this about chiropractic and what I do. I don't treat symptoms. That's not what I do. I would never claim to say I know how to heal these symptoms. I don't. I know how to work with their nervous system. So remember, whose body's creating these symptoms? Hers. Whose body needs to heal these symptoms? Hers. What system needs to first get checked? The nervous system. And yes, she's been a chiropractor, but they didn't take x-rays of her. They didn't do scans of her. They were your neck hurts, so let's adjust your neck. Does it feel better? Come back until it doesn't feel better. It's subjective chiropractic. No offense, it's just not real testing and objectivity. Okay? As you look at this stuff, I always say this. I don't know how to treat. I don't have a sciatic adjustment. I don't have a migraine adjustment. I don't have a bipolar adjustment. I just am going to look at the scans, and then I'm going to teach you guys how to understand these scans, so then you can see now what I do. So watch this. I told them that, and I go sit through this, learn about it, and now let's see what we do differently. So first test, HRV. We want to see, is Julie in a high functioning zone? So normal, just to be clear, that dot is normal. So you guys saw this in the beginning, but I didn't actually tell you what normal is. Normal is a dot right on the vertical line and right across the 100% marker. And then if you want to be really simple, green is good, yellow is not so good, red is bad. Dark red is really, really bad. Okay, so that was her initial scan when she came into my clinic right there. So what am I looking at here? I'm looking at a body that is in a severe state of fight or flight, which makes total sense to me. Nothing revolutionary about this scan at all, but it only allowed me to look at the parents and say, you guys have tried good nutrition, right? Yes, we've tried. We've had her under nutritional care with a nutritionist for years. You guys got her on a lot of supplements at one point? Yep, we've got a lot of supplements. You guys did massage, you did chiropractic. None of them worked, did they? And they all made her feel different, better, but none of them got rid of her symptoms fully. So the cause wasn't found yet. And it wasn't that the nutrition was bad. It wasn't that the supplements were bad. It's that her body, instead of being in balance to do something with that stuff, it's functioning at 27% balance. That's poor. That's survival. So when you're in survival, your brain's not going to process those supplements properly. Your brain's not going to heal that and use that food properly. So it's not that those things are bad. This is what I shared. And this is the moment that the parents went, oh, something's different. I've never heard that before. Her body's just not able to utilize all that because it's in such a severe protection state. And now this one was kind of easy. I'm like, hey, listen, she's not even 30 years old yet and her gas tank's at 60% already. That's not good. You don't have any energy in your body to heal these things. And of course, she's exhausted. She's tired. She's chemically burdened because she has 25 pills she's processing every day. So nothing revolutionary at all. Just tells me a piece of information. But you know what is true? Until she gets closer to homeostasis, even adjustments aren't going to heal her. So the hard part for me now is, what do we need to do to get her into homeostasis? And you'll see, it wasn't just chiropractic. It was many things that needed to be done. Okay, that's a thermography scan right there. Guys, she had 11 autoimmune diagnoses. I'm not an expert in them. I just know, I know what the brain and the organs are doing with each other. What you want to see is red bars on the scan. That means organs have heat to them. That was her initial scan when she came into my clinic. Okay, here's what I said. I'm not surprised her organs don't work. I don't know why quite yet, but I just go, I'm not surprised her organs don't work. And now I'll tell you the number one, the rest of her x-rays were not great, but I'm going to show you the arc of life. Or in her case, the lack of arc of life. So what do you guys notice about her cervical x-ray? And this was probably the primary thing that was causing most of her body to be in fight or flight and being not healing properly. So what do you guys notice here? There's two things that are not great with this one, and there's one thing that is okay. That curve is in the wrong direction. Okay, so instead of being curved in the right direction, she has a -5 out of 45 degree curve. So just statistically, that's 113% pressure on the nervous system. This number, forward head posture, should be 10 millimeters or less. She's up at 32 millimeters. Statistically, studies find every 10 millimeter increments are an extra 4 pounds of pressure to your brainstem. So at 32 millimeters, she's sitting with an extra 12 to 14 pounds of extra pressure on her spinal cord and nerve system. Think about this. Think about if I had a bowling ball here versus if I stuck a bowling ball out here. Where is it way heavier? Out there. Okay? Same thing with the head. It feels way heavier, which means this is all going to degenerate one day. Good news. That this was a good news, because I'm like, man, this is a lot of bad news for her. But here's the good news. Her bones are in phase 1. Phase 1 means she has no arthritis or degeneration yet. Now, if we don't stabilize phase 1 and correct it and leave it like this, do you guys think it's going to magically get better? No. What's it going to do 100% of the time? Worse. It's going to get worse. Okay? Now, let me be careful again. This isn't fear tactics. This is truth. It's just honesty. If you went to a dentist and you had a cavity, and let's just say it didn't hurt you, but the dentist said you have a cavity, let's fix this, and you said, no, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I can't do this right now. Would the dentist be lying to you saying, okay, let's do something quick because it's going to get worse? No, he's going to be truthful to you, because you're going to be upset if you come back and they say you need a root canal because your tooth is dead now. You're going to be upset if you come see me and you're in phase 2 or phase 3. And at that point, I'm going to have to say, I can't do anything about this anymore. It's not lying and it's not scare. It's truth and it's physiology. So I don't want to sugarcoat things, but I do also want to say, in my clinic, there's always hope. There's always hope. We are hope dealers. So yes, I got to give you the truth, but I will say this. There's only rarely a chance it's too late. And I've seen it, but it's like usually the old person who's not even willing to do anything about it anymore. Yes, there is truth, guys. some of you have degeneration in phase 2 in your spine, which means you have disc degeneration, you have bone degeneration. At that point, I will say I'm not going to truthfully, I would lie to you if I told you I can get rid of that, because that's physiology. I can't. But I'm not going to lie to you when I say, let's do something about this, because the rest of those bones and discs can be prevented if they don't have any degeneration yet. So you can actually slow arthritis degeneration down in its track and prevent it from getting worse. That will just take regular motion and work on an area. Okay, now look at this. Another way to look at that spinal cord. What happens when you lose the curve in your neck? Spinal cord gets squished. If your spinal cord gets squished and you now lose nutrition to your brain, what do you think when you get older? What diagnosis do you now have a higher chance of if you've robbed nutrition to your brain and now all of a sudden your brain doesn't work when you're 70 or 80 years old? Alzheimer's, dementia. Okay, not random, not bad luck, not your age, not genetics. Yes, there's a lot of things that will make it faster. For example, if you have this, you've got a huge fire. But now if you eat poor foods, if you don't exercise, if you eat a bunch of seed oils and inflammatory things, that's like you taking lighter fluid and squirting it all over that fire. You're just going to make it faster, worse. So we address all of it because I go, hey, I have 2 things I need to teach you. Number 1, stop squirting lighter fluid on your fire. So stop doing the things that cause this stuff. And then number 2, let's start putting down the fire. Let's start putting it out. And that takes the work proactively to do all that stuff. Okay, one more scan so you guys can understand just how serious I take this, but also how objective these things are. I don't have this scan in my clinic over here, but that is, again, a reverse curve right there. And now this is another digital radiograph scan of the brainstem right there. That's your spinal cord right there. You see how it's thick, 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 and then boom, gets completely squished off at the top over there. That's what I get concerned about with bad spines. It's the nervous system degenerates. So when I tell people, hey, who do you think needs to learn about this stuff? It's not just your friend that has headaches and back pain and neck pain. It literally is anybody who has a spine should know about this stuff, and they deserve to have testing done. So that's why in the end, I'm going to teach you our mission of why we are mission-based. Yes, I want you guys healthy, but I want your guys' friends and family to know about this, to know if whether they have an opportunity to be healthy. Okay? And now, here's the unfortunate thing. If that doesn't get corrected, well, then that's what it ends up looking like one day. Okay? That's the arthritis and degeneration right there, just to let you know. That is the bone spur. That is the disc that's compressed inside there. That is the bone that's dead and it's connecting itself to the other bone. Okay? That's phase 3 right there. That's the nursing home spine. That's a gentleman who did come from a nursing home. That's a gentleman I have to look at and say, I maybe can help your symptoms. I can't guarantee it, but I cannot correct your spine. I can't do anything about that. It's the worst thing in my career I have to say to someone. And it does suck. And it is something I go, I don't want those things. But the moment I got the history of this gentleman, because the daughter was a patient in our clinic and was like, can you help my dad? And I'm like, tell me about him. Well, he lives in a nursing home. He's on like 9 or 10 medications. He's got numb arms. He's got early Alzheimer's dementia. He's got depression, anxiety, all that. Right away from the history, I'm like, that's not good. It sounds like phase 2 or phase 3 to me. So what I told her was, I'm hoping it's phase 2. Bring him in. And it's not. It's phase 2, phase 3. So there's a lot that can't be fixed because phase 3 is when it fuses. Phase 2 is when you have degenerative changes. Okay? So I don't want that for people. So obviously, when I showed Julie and her parents the results, I said, do you want to fix this? Because you guys get when I show you your results, I only have one question I can ask you. Do you want to fix this? And if you say no, that's fine. That's your choice. I'm not going to sit there and beg you and grab your. I'll just say, great. Let me know if I can do anything to help you. Now, if it's time, money, or something like that, I can find a way for you guys. But if it's I don't believe this or something, well, then obviously I cannot change that. And I hope that's not the truth for someone. But very, very, I will tell you, they were not like gung-ho, like I found the answer. They were very skeptic still when I even went over all this stuff. But they did say, it's different. We're willing to try it because we have tried everything else. And they were honest. They said, I don't know how we're going to afford this. We're already over $100,000 in medical debt. And I'm like, so if I asked you to pull out another $100,000, but it was guaranteed to help her, would you do it? And they said, well, if you can guarantee, yeah, we'd do anything. I'd pay anything. And I get that now. I'm a dad. I have a daughter. If my daughter had a medical condition where they said, The only answer to this is you getting in your car and driving up to Canada tomorrow. And you got to figure out $50,000 to pay for this treatment. Guess what I'm going to do tonight? I'll be at the banks. I'll figure out how to make it done. And then I'll figure out it later. But I don't want people to end up in that situation crisis right there. So in our clinic, I'll be truthful. Our care is not $100,000. Our care is like braces on crooked teeth. Our care can range from $1,500 all the way up to about $6,000 to $7,500, depending on how bad your nervous system is. We have different ways we can make people pay for it. We have different enhanced options, so I can only give you a ballpark of what that looks like. Our average care in our clinic could be 2 to 4 years to actually heal your spine and nervous system long term. And initially, we don't start with that. Initially, we start with 90-day corrections, and they'll range between $2,500 and $3,500 for correction, $3,500 to $4,500 for enhanced correction. So when they heard $4,500, they're like, well, that's a lot, but that's not a lot compared to what we have already been in debt with, and we'll do it, and we'll figure it out. And I'm like, cool. And then you'll see at the end where it's like, okay, what's the value in what you do? Okay, this is where she first started right over here. Here was her recommendations for her spine. If you have a reverse curve, you'll most likely see a 32-visit protocol. That's the minimum we need to take another x-ray on you in 90 days and say, I think we can change this without re-x-raying you for no reason. 32 visits over 3 months is 3 adjustments per week for 8 weeks, 2 adjustments per week for the next 4 weeks after that. And people might think, well, that's a lot of adjustments. It's actually not. It's the bare minimum we need to change the structure of her spine and to see different changes. And now if she can do that, then we will accept the case and work at it with that frequency. If she cannot, I will tell them, great, I have other options, but we're not going to see the results as fast. And if you guys are okay with that, I'm okay with it. My choice may not be your choice. My goals are your goals, so we'll do it whatever you guys want to do with it. But I'll show you optimal tonight, okay? So when she started with us, she began getting adjusted. She got adjusted 12 times in her first month, 3 times a week for 4 weeks. She got to her first month check-in. So in 1 month, we run new scans on people and we do our first progress check-in. In her first month, 12 adjustments in, she had no changes to her symptoms. Not one single symptom changed. In fact, she said some of her symptoms were worse. And I'm like, well, that's not good, but obviously I don't judge it on just her symptoms. I did her 1 month scan and I was able to look her right in the eye without lying to her one bit. And I said, hey, you're healing. This is working. You're healing. And I'm not judging that by how you feel, Julie. Okay, so 1 month in, I'm looking at how she's functioning. Red to now red, yellow. Hey, we're getting closer to green. Little bit waking up. We're going in the right direction. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to change anything up. We're just going to keep going and trusting. If things were really, really whacked out or something, I might say we need to change some things. So my testing allows me to know what we're going to change or not change. Now, there's power in words, you guys. She's never heard from a doctor in her life that she's healing, and this is working. And I'm not lying. I don't think it was just the time only. It was those words that opened the floodgates for her. And now, month 2, it was insanely beautiful. It was so amazing to see how great she was. In fact, under her 8-week check-in, 2 months in, she had so many things get better in her. She had so many things that she actually recorded a testimony video for us 8 weeks in. It was the best she's felt in her entire adult life. And I looked at her and I said, I love this. I have that video, but I go, we're not there yet. I love this, but this isn't your end right here. This is a check-in point. Now we're going to really start working on this. So when she started getting a little bit of results, it was like she was all on board now. So now the nutrition, now the gut healing, now the detoxing, now all this started happening. And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you her fast forward scan. What does it look like if you commit? What does it look like if you understand this is a long game? What does it look like if you understand this is a lifestyle? Well, that's her 1 year scan right there. Okay, pretty cool. 1 year. Let me show you her 90-day x-ray. That's where she started. 32 adjustments over 3 months. We're not perfect, but we took a full reversal and made it positive again. Most chiropractors, well, they'll adjust you for years and they'll never show you anything like this because that's not their goal. They don't do spinal correction. In 3 months, I will show you x-rays like this if you do your part and I do my part. That wasn't just her getting adjusted. That was her doing rehab before and after every adjustment. That was her doing rehab at home every single day. So part of our care in this clinic is homework for you guys. You guys got to do the home rehab. You have to be a part of the lifestyle changes. If you make your lifestyle changes, you'll see x-rays change faster because you actually reduce inflammation to the spine and nervous system. It's pretty cool. -5 to +10, pretty awesome. 32 down to 22, not perfect, but we're going in the right direction. Let's hear her testimony, and then I'm going to show you a couple other options I can offer my patients if you want to see faster changes.
Okay. So hi, I'm Julie. I've been here with Mountain Valley Family Chiropractic for a little over a year now. I did one of these testimonies 8 weeks and it was pretty incredible. I wasn't sure what to expect coming here. A background story is that if you were to look at everything that was wrong with me on paper, all my conditions, pain, you'd probably think that I was 80 years old, which is really sad to think about. I'm actually 29 and I was in a chronic care pain facility for 8 years, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's over a third of my life. I wasn't even 30 yet. And I was treated like my pain doesn't matter, it was pushed aside. I was young and can't be in pain. I couldn't figure it out. At one point, I think I was on between 25 medications. I was taking medications to solve medication problems. I kept taking new things because I have symptoms from it that were awful. I didn't have very much quality of life. I was scared to do things. I thought I couldn't do things. I couldn't sit still for really long. And they came here. And I've lowered a lot of medications. I've removed a lot of things in. One of the really cool things that happened to me right away is when I was adjusted here that I didn't even realize I couldn't turn my head to the left. And it had been months like that. And I felt normal. And so that was something I felt right away. One of the benefits that I felt and noticed was being able to have an immunity again and fight infections and not have to take medication. And it's really cool to say that I'm not scared to do things. I'm scared to, get sick or travel too much. What if I'm in pain? I was the person that was always sick right after flying. That shifted really quickly. I've been able to do so much healing internally and externally. I can really see my spine shifting, which is amazing. Again, because I'm still having a fusion. I'm 29. One of the really great things I can go out and not be scared to try a new activity with my husband. I can be excited about the future, and I can also feel secure that this is a lifestyle improvement. It's internal, external, spiritual. I've been able to get so much here and take it and apply it to my life. I wasn't sure if we could have kids before because of my conditions and pain, and that's something that we're looking forward to now. So definitely feel that it's changed my life.
It's pretty cool, right? Over 20 medications that she's off of. Some of them are hard. Can't just come off of them. So still working with doctors to try to get her off of some of the harder core ones that she's been on for a very long time. You see that type of testimony and I go, sometimes I wish we got the $100,000. But we can't do that because most people are not going to do that willingly. But you will do it forcefully in that system if you end up being sick. You think it was worth her $4,500 at that point? Wasn't even thought process to her parents. And yes, it's still value. It's money. But what are you getting for the value? You're getting root cause. You're getting true healing. And again, not me. I'm not the healer. So whenever she told me, thank you for healing me, I always had to correct her and be like, no, I didn't heal you. You healed you. And yes, I did what I needed to do. I'm good at the nervous system. I'm good at the puzzle pieces. I'm good at the lifestyle. I'm good at coaching. I'm good at leading. I'm good at all that stuff. God's given me those giftings, but I didn't heal you. So when you come in and if you see your body heal, it's not going to be me that healed you. It's going to be you that healed you. But now let me show you what the $4,500 she got. It wasn't just chiropractic care. She chose what we call our enhanced care plan. So some of you in here tonight will see a enhanced care plan. If your goal is balancing hormones, internal stuff, pain relief, you're going to see some of the additional things I do in this clinic. So I'm going to show you one therapy that most people have no clue what it is. And it's not on the radar for a lot of people. It's the latest thing in regenerative medicine right now. If your goal is pain relief, if your goal is to get out of pain faster potentially, or your goal is you have degeneration somewhere and you want to fastly slow down the scar tissue and you want stem cell growth in the area, rather than injecting stem cells, there's now technology that does endogenous stem cell reproduction. So let me show you guys a little technology called soft wave that we do here in our clinic. Some of you guys will see this in your care plan if you choose you want to do this. This is for the faster, quicker kind of pain relief right over here if it happens.
Here's one therapy that's making a serious impact on how doctors are treating pain. It's a little company outside of Woodstock, Georgia, that's not on the radar for most people. The most interesting part of soft wave tissue regeneration technologies is that it takes two forces of nature, basically a lightning bolt and the supernatural force of a clasp of thunder, and places it into this handheld probe where the intensity can be adjusted depending on which part of the body we're working on. By capturing these two natural occurring phenomena, you're able to direct this electrohydraulically produced supersonic sound waves traveling at 3,355 miles an hour. These waves are able to penetrate the depth of a soup can into the human body, and they deliver a shearing force on the cell membranes, which first compresses the cell by 2% and then expands it by 10%. This process is called mechanotransduction, and it literally knocks oxidative stressors off the wall. This in turn helps improve cell membrane permeability by allowing nutrients in and waste products out. Mechanotransduction triggers a cascade of regenerative healing steps that follow. First, shedding of microvesicles that turn on a network of cellular communication. You see, these cells in our innate immune system don't really know what just hit them. They've just been hit by this supersonic boom and still trying to assess the damage. They've triggered the fire alarm for these first responders of our innate immune system that must deal with foreign intruders, viruses, or antigens that may have penetrated our body's natural defense system. This process actually tricks the body into thinking that there's a new injury when in fact there's no damage to the tissue at all. One immune receptor that's called into action is called toll-like receptor 3, TLR3. This is considered a superhero gene and now helps activate four key components to regenerative cellular healing. It decreases inflammation, which is really the silent culprit, and I believe the true source of pain, improves circulation and angiogenesis by causing vasodilation of the arteries, and helps increase blood flow and flush out toxins. It responds to activating the stem cells, which are the repairment of the body within 45 minutes of treatment. And finally, activate connective tissue regeneration that helps speed healing of bone and wounds. So
incredible addition. If some of you guys are interested in that and it's not in your plan, you can always talk to our Softwave tech and try out therapy. I love it. I've used it in many places in my body. I've used it for injuries. I've used it for prevention. I love to have it. I've used it first and then decided I need to bring this to my patients. So an incredible thing if we are working on some of these things a little bit faster. If you guys have any type of internal stuff, meaning like we are working on autoimmune stuff, we are working on hormones, we're working on adrenals, we're working on some deep healing, you'll see this in your care plan. This is called the Foundational 3. The Foundational 3 we released in February of this year. This is the most synergistic, comprehensive supplement bundle that probably exists in the natural world today. You cannot get this in stores. This is a pharmaceutical grade supplement only held in our office on our shelves. It is 20 different nutrients in their clinically studied forms in these 3 supplements right here. So technically you're taking 20 supplements, but they're in 3 bottles here. Cellular health and longevity heals your mitochondria. It reheals your cells. It helps the energy systems. It is incredible at repairing internal cells. Inflammation and immune support targets 2 major things. Inflammation, which is the, again, root cause for a lot of pain, and it targets lots of immune boosting things. So you just won't see people get sick as much. And then digestion and detox is key because this actually heals and helps repair leaky gut, which means autoimmunity, which also means anxiety, depression stuff gets healed with the digestion and detox. It is the first glyphosate binder on the market. So glyphosate is AKA Roundup. So celiacs, gut issues, it will help bind those things. And then it also has a microplastic binder as well. So microplastics are in a lot of things. You'll probably hear a lot about it out there. So there's nothing that exists like it out there. This is incredible. So you'll see this in some of it. Again, if it's not in there and you're interested in it, you can always talk to it after. Okay. So last concept that you guys need to learn. I can't tell you tonight where and how your symptoms and where your spine happened. I can't tell you the one thing that caused it because it's not usually one thing. But I can tell you the time that the first subluxation usually will happen to most humans. So Julie, you want to know when she should have got her nervous system checked? Do you want to know what could have prevented that whole life, in my opinion? Probably, most likely. What was the first event you think that could have caused a spine to subluxate for someone? Okay, so birth creates subluxations. And hospital births, they don't even focus on these types of things. I mean, they're just yanking babies out right and left. And they yank traction, twist to get the shoulders out, then they pull them out. Home births, we've had 2 home births. And it's like we focus on those things. We're still more gentle, but you still got to get a baby out by the neck. And sometimes it doesn't go as mama plans, as both my children were examples of that. But you traction, and if you have a subluxation right at birth, as the twig bends, so grows the tree, is what they say. So a lot of people, actually, their first misalignment was at birth. And that's why they have a reverse neck when they're 20 years old or 30 years old. Or it could have been the car accident where you hit your head on the dashboard. Or it could have been the concussion. But again, at that point, we're talking about a fire that now you're just putting lighter fluid on. I'm going to use that same metaphor. So why do I say if you have children, get them checked? If you have future children, get them checked. Because these are the things I've seen. These are the 10-year-olds that come in with reverse curves already. These are the 10-year-olds that come in with scoliosis in their lower back. So guys, this is a lower back x-ray right here. This is a hip that is fully misaligned with a scoliosis in the spine. When would you want to know this was your child right here? When they have chronic migraines? When they're being told they need a scoliosis surgery? When they have their symptom? No. You would want to know that ideally as soon as possible. How would you know that? If you don't judge your health on feeling, there's only one way you're going to know that. You got to get testing done. And guys, spouses in this clinic right now, spouses, if you've never been checked, how are you going to know if you're subluxated? You got to get testing done. And this is why in our clinic, we're family-based. So you guys, these are the things we're trying to avoid in people right here. This is why my children were adjusted the day they were born. This is why you've seen so many newborns in our clinic get adjusted. I'm not adjusting my children because of pain. I'm adjusting my children because I want them to function as close to 100%, as close to God's potential in them as early as possible. That's why I adjust my children. And my children get adjusted regularly. And once people go through correction with us, and once they fix and heal their spine or are satisfied with their health, I don't tell them, oh great, stop, come back again when it hurts. That would be silly. That would be like saying, hey, you were really unhealthy, so you spent a year exercising, eating good food, lifting weights, and now you look great. Great, go back to your same lifestyle now that you used to do. No, because what are you going to do? You're going to go right back to where you were. So chiropractic, if you use it the right way, yeah, I believe in regular family wellness, chiropractic for the rest of your life, if that's your philosophy. That's my philosophy. That's what I choose to do. I've been adjusted regularly for 15 years now. My children have been adjusted every single week since they've been born. And why? Because we want to keep the nervous system going. So at one point when you actually feel good and great, wellness chiropractic in our clinic, optimal wellness is 1 adjustment per week. Get adjusted every week and you'll probably prevent most arthritis degeneration and you'll still make changes and progress. If you love your health, you're very happy and you just want to maintain it and not go backwards, then get adjusted every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks will allow you to maintain a nervous system. And guys, we'll get to that point, but for you guys here tonight, here's how it works. Number 1, if you guys choose to get this corrected here tonight, I'm going to show you your optimal recommendations, and then if you need some help and support, talk to me. We'll obviously get you some other options. If you decide to do it, number 1 thing is be committed to your health, please. Like if you do this, we're coming to the holidays, you guys. You guys can make every excuse to say Christmas is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up. I get that. I'll also be closing, traveling, and doing that stuff. But we'll work around all those things. No better time than when you first learn about it and when you're excited about it. So yeah, I would encourage, don't be the, oh, wait till January 1st. Because from now till January 1st, you're going to have 15 other things get in your way. And you're going to have all these other expenses get in your way. And then January 1st, you're going to be broke from the holidays. So you're going to be like, I can't do it there. And I've seen it. I just see people pushing on and on and on until it no longer even becomes a concern for them anymore. And they're used to their lifestyle. So I would love to help you do it if we can make it doable. Commitment looks like a couple things. Making your adjustments, doing your rehab before and after that you need to do, and doing your home rehab. Now we do workshops in this clinic as well. So we will teach on lifestyle. We will literally do classes on different things. My next class is a sleep workshop happening in December. So if you want to learn better tips on sleeping and all that, come to those workshops. They're included in your care. That's a part of our value system. It's a part of why people get good results. Okay. Second thing I ask is family members, if you haven't had your nervous system checked, get your nerve systems checked. Now, we want to make that barrier of entry very low. And equally, guys, if you know someone who's never had their nervous system checked and you were thinking about them here tonight, and you have a friend or someone you know that's struggling with headaches or migraines or digestive issues or autoimmune conditions, and they have never had their nerve systems checked, please teach them what you learned here tonight. You can't force them to do anything, but you can certainly give them an encouragement to get a different way checked. Because people aren't out there walking around getting their nervous systems checked because they live in a reactive medical model like most of us do and did. Hopefully that's a past thing for you guys. Okay. We right now, for the next, until Thanksgiving, we are doing our annual food drive that we do. So the barrier of entry is low. I want you guys to just have an opportunity. So over the next 30 days, we are partnered with the Fort Collins Food Bank. So if you guys bring in a bag of food, and we have a list of what they're looking for, non-perishable foods to help the underprivileged here in Fort Collins. If you fill a bag of food and you bring it in, we will donate the $150 scans and x-rays that we do here in our clinic for you guys. And we'll do that for other people as well. So please let someone know. Starting in Thanksgiving and after, we're going to start our giving tree, our toy drive. So if you know someone that needs to get their nervous system checked, instead of paying us $150 for the scans and x-rays, they can bring toys that we can donate to children, and we will give them that donation of an exam and x-ray. Because it's not about the money for people. It's about getting an answer to them. And I can promise you guys, it's unfortunate, but there are people on their hands and knees praying right now for an answer. There are people struggling. There are people literally dealing and popping pills every single day, and they're begging to hear what you guys probably just heard here tonight. You can't change it for them. I can't change it for them, but we can give them an opportunity to make it better. So I'll ask you over the next 2 months, if you do this and you're here with us, who do you know and who we can help? So tonight, it's about